is rare. Welcome to Accountability is Trending. Just real conversations about local issues that affect Uinta County and Wyoming. Good afternoon. What a beautiful Sunday, this 8th day of February in our Lord 2026. Hi, I'm your host, Chris Hopkin, and with me is Tina Johnson, your co-host. Up front, today I'd like to thank you for all that viewed our last episode, and I'd like to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. This helps tremendously with the YouTube algorithms. That's a good one. This episode is about Prometheus Hyperscale, the data center that's outside of the old city of Piedmont. If you've ever visited the charcoal kilns out there, you're not too far from this data center where it's located. And I'd like to say good afternoon to you, Tina. How are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing good. Also having a fabulous Sunday. The weather is beautiful. I guess we're going to have some snow tomorrow, from what I understand.
Oh, no kidding. Well, it's about time. We need some snow. You know, my wife, she hates winter, right? And she's actually praying for snow. She says, I can't believe this. I'm praying for snow.
It's going to be nasty. And they had a fire out in Riverton yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, wildfires. They had one out in Bear River today as well. It was a
Well,
haystack, but
yeah, this has got to be the craziest winter that I think anybody has ever. I've talked to people here that has lived here their entire life, and they said they've seen after Christmas, they've seen on the Butte where it's been brown, but they've never seen it like this, where we basically had no snow here in Evanston, clear until here we're into February, and this has been
right.
crazy. Yeah. I listen,
Absolutely
you got
insane.
to be kidding me. I've been here since October of 1980. Never ever seen a winter like this. It's crazy. So anyhow, I would like to turn this over to you, Tina, and you're our uh, data expert and our the person that just dives into this and gives us all this great information. So I'll turn it over to you and let you proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You bet.
So, what I want to say to start is we feel a sense of urgency at this point. Um, our county commissioners have signed two things. They signed a letter of intent, and number two is that at the county commissioner meeting this last Tuesday, the economic development Gary Welling presented to the county commissioners and asked for their support in sending a letter of support of Prometheus. And that is going to be, so in the Uinta County Herald, I did ask for copies of these myself, but it's going to take a little bit of a process to obtain. So I did not have those as of this, as we're recording. But what it is the Uinta County has a long and proud history of supporting large-scale energy infrastructure and industrial development. They view this project as a natural extension of that legacy, one that builds on our skilled workforce, strategic location, and energy resources while positioning our community to participate meaningfully in the future of advanced computing and artificial intelligence infrastructure. With this letter of intent, oh my gosh, I'm stumbling. I'm so sorry. This letter is going to be sent to Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and to Bill Gates with Microsoft. This is huge because no one in our community even knew that we were building a data center. And when I did try to get the community interested in the subject, it seemed like nobody would talk about it. There are non-disclosure agreements. We're going to kind of go through my opinion of the situation. I feel that there is a huge conflict of interest between the county commissioners and the developer of the Prometheus Hyperscale, Trenton Thornnock. All right, so this is the story of the Prometheus Hyperscale. In Greek mythology was a Titan. Prometheus defied the Olympian gods by taking fire from them and giving it to humanity in the form of technology, knowledge, and more. He rebelled against Zeus, had eternal torment by an eagle. This is similar to biblical prophecy or biblical history. Lucifer also rebels against God, is called the light bearer or morning star. He is cast out of heaven and he is known for pride, rebellion, and forbidden knowledge. So it is very odd that they named this hyperscale the Prometheus Hyperscale. So this started with the letter of intent on November 4th, is where they signed the letter of intent for strategic partnership between Prometheus Hyperscale and Uinta County. Uinta County agrees to provide Prometheus with up to 300-acre site suitable for the development and operation of a workforce hub. There were 3 yes votes. Nobody said no. Nobody, what is the word I'm looking for?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
This acreage that you're talking about,
Yes.
I've had questions asked to me about that. Where is that exactly? Is that in the city limits here?
I believe it is right outside of the city, over by the rest area. I
Is that
believe it
by
is going to be east
is
of
that
that
the
rest
road?
area.
Is that the road to nowhere, that area up there?
That's what I understand.
Oh, okay. That's what I've heard also. I was under the impression it was out around the data center somewhere, but I guess not. It's up in that area then, up by the visitor center and the road to nowhere up in that up on that hill then.
That's what I understand. And I believe it was you. It was originally supposed to be 1,000 acres and it got
Yes, I
downsized to 300.
agreed. I was at that actual commissioners meeting when they the representative got up and actually pared that down to 300 acres because it was supposed to be 1,000 acres.
Yeah. All right. So here is the Uinta County Herald. County officials signed letters of support for the incoming data center. Now, I believe that with this, the letters of support, this is what opens up the doors for grants and that sort of thing. So they
Okay.
go through, they don't really question too much. And several of the community have reached out to me and they did not feel like there was a huge conversation. And many people in the community have no idea that this is even going on. This is the first time that they're hearing about this. It talks about the potential economic benefits of this project, and we're talking potential, not guaranteed, potential.
Right.
Including high quality jobs, workforce development opportunities, durable long-term investment are closely aligned with Uinta County's economic development priorities.
I did want to interject for 1 minute that it seemed relative to me when I was at the commissioners meeting, and this was just before we had the vote on the 1 cent, well, it was touted as 1 cent, but the 1% sales tax hike that they tried to push through. It was interesting because they pared it down just before we voted on that, and we voted it down. So isn't that interesting that they went from 1,000 acres down to 300 acres?
Right after that.
Yeah, that was what was actually before we voted.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that happened before we voted. So I was thinking that's interesting that they went from 1,000 acres down. It was either before, and correct me if
I
I'm
feel like it
wrong.
was right
I'm
after.
thinking, was it right after?
I feel like it was.
Yeah, you might be right, but it was interesting how that all of a sudden happened.
And I cannot remember. And I know that from one of my other articles that um, Rachel Rodriguez Williams had questioned Josh Durrell with the Wyoming Business Council about the 1 cent sales taxes and how they would improve your ability to get these grants in your community. And if your community did pass it, you were more open. It was more like you were more open to economic development,
Yes,
and those
yes.
people get more money.
Yes, there's a whole nother episode for us to cover that. If people are interested in us doing something like that, we could do a deep dive into that to show you more about that. But it was quite interesting being at the commissioners meeting and that person representing the Prometheus project, that she got up there and just said, well, we just want to bring it down to 300 acres. I think that's all we need.
Yeah, that's it for
When,
free.
when the people are paying for it, yeah, we'll do 1,000
Yeah,
acres, bet. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We don't want to take a whole lot of time up for this presentation because it does get pretty in depth. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. Um, I love the questions. They were good questions. So the Board of County Commissioners are prepared to support the efforts however they are needed, whether that involves coordinating with local and state stakeholders, exploring workforce and training opportunities, connections with community leaders, or supplying local data and context to strengthen planning and implementation. So Mark Anderson did bring up that he wanted some questions asked, some discussion. They said that they were going to, that it's about 10 miles east of here on the Thornnock property on Aspen Mountain, um, and that they will be doing their water and sewer and power, all of those things that are important to the data center. They're providing them those themselves, according
Okay.
to this article. So we're going to talk a little bit about the leadership of Prometheus that was announced within the last few months. Let's see. So here we are with Bernard Looney, he was the former CEO of BP, which was British Petroleum, one of the biggest energy companies in the world. I'm not going to go into him a lot this time because I really want to go into Trenton Thornnock and Trevor Nielsen. Trenton Thornnock, we're going to go into his family history so that everybody can see how he is connected to the county commissioners. I think it is important for our county to understand that these county commissioners have a personal relationship with Trenton Thornnock, the founder and chief executive officer of Prometheus. He has done tons of things, as far as he's even helped build a recycling factory in China. So he's been all over the world, but he is related to the Thornnocks out of Randolph, Utah. And he is related to Eric South and Mark Anderson through marriage, but I still feel that that's a conflict of interest, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then I really want to talk about Trevor Nielsen, who is the president of Prometheus. Trevor Nielsen is an accomplished entrepreneur and energy transition investor. It goes down, and I'm going to skip these for just a second. And I can't read it because I'm over here. I think it's important to note that he was co-founder, chairman, and CEO of something called Waste Fuel, a bioenergy company, with British Petroleum, Maersk, and NetJets as investors. Prior to that, he served as CEO of Net Zero. Net Zero, he co-founded with Howard Warren Buffett, which is the grandson of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is Berkshire Hathaway and Rocky Mountain Power, which is part of the project over at the nuclear plant, the TerraPower nuclear plant. Nielsen also served as co-founder and chairman of the Climate Emergency Fund and currently serves as chairman of APCO Climate and Biodiversity. Earlier in his career, Nielsen worked in the Bill Gates Family Office and at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as the Director of Communication and Director of Special Projects. Now, some of the articles that I had read, he helped develop and start the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That's how intertwined he is in that.
Wow.
And so this Nielsen, he's the author of Sustainable Intelligence, a book that explores, oh my gosh, sorry, how artificial intelligence can tackle global challenges like climate change while addressing the environmental impact and moral complexities of the technology itself. And I think it's interesting to note that this totally goes against Trump's. He has said that climate change is a hoax, which, whether you believe it or you don't, something's going on. The weather clearly shows something ain't right.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I mean, right in the opening, we talked about how this winter is just not normal. I mean, this is just not a normal winter.
And if you believe that it could be man-made or engineered, which it is my opinion that there could be some of that, but things are not quite right. So then I also want to talk about his affiliation with the World Economic Forum.
Oh
Now, a
boy.
lot of people, we're not allowed to talk about the World Economic Forum.
Oh boy. That's a can of worm in itself.
Yeah. So I need for Eldon Stahl to see this so that he sees that 100% this is part of Agenda 2030 and Trevor Nielsen is a part of it.
Mm.
So formerly with the Office of Scheduling in Advance, he's just got a huge history of all of these things with Bill Gates, with Bono, George Soros, Director, Public Affairs, Special Projects. He's part of all of it, the entire global system. He has been in the Clinton Global Initiative, Council of Foreign Relations, all of the things. So that is the president of our small town data center. So then I'm going to go back up. I want to introduce some of the other people. And this lady here, Mary Throne. Mary Throne was a legislator in the Wyoming legislator, I believe, from 2010 to 2007 to 2016.
And I see that she's general counsel, and she's on the Prometheus board.
On Prometheus, yes.
Okay.
So she helped write a lot of the legislation that made this possible, the tax breaks that go to it. So she was in the House and kind of laid a foundation there. Then she went on to work in the Wyoming Public Service Commission. The primary duty of the Public Service Commission is to regulate the rates and service provision of electricity, natural gas, and telephone utilities. So she was working with Rocky Mountain Power. She was the one regulating how they operate. The commission is responsible for ensuring safe, adequate, and reliable service at fair rates. So there is all of the duties that she performed at that time. She quit there in 2025 and went to work for Prometheus as their general counsel. So here is two of the bills that she co-sponsored. And this was in 2009, House Bill HB 0084. And it was relating to taxation and revenue, providing a property tax exemption for community development organizations as specified, and providing for an effective date, which was for the economic development. Then she, House Bill 67 in the 2010 budget session. This was an act relating to taxation and revenue, providing a sales and use tax exemption on certain data processing services centers and equipment as specified, providing definitions, providing qualifications, providing reporting requirements, and providing for an effective date. So it just goes to show how long she's been involved in the data centers.
Yeah, she's actually changing Wyoming law.
Yes. All right. Any questions on that so far?
Well, definitely people need to know about this, and that's why we're doing what we're doing here to inform Uinta County and Wyoming that there's more than just a data center being done here. And thank you, Tina, because you are awesome.
You're welcome. So as I go into this next part, what I want to say is this is going to be kind of hard for everyone because these people are our neighbors. These are our bishops. These are people we go to church with. We want to believe that people are doing the right thing for us. But as you can see, somehow this global entity with World Economic Forum ties came to our community and they took over our community. And we want to know how that happened without the people knowing that it was even going on. The people did not have a say. So as I go into this next part, I hope that anyone affected forgives me if they, but it is important for me to point out the people that I see as involved. This isn't the total list. This isn't to everybody that's involved, but this is the county commissioners, and that is my focus for today. So Trenton Thornnock is the son of Gregory Rex and Colleen Thornnock of Randolph, Utah. His uncle is Galen K. Thornnock, and his wife is Joanne Thornnock. Joanne Thornnock is Burton South's sister. Burton South is Eric South's dad. So
Burton's, that's South and Jones.
That's South and Jones. Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they share an aunt and an uncle. So through marriage, they are related. Then it comes down to, we're going to talk about the name Rex. So Kathleen Rose Rex and Robert Raymond Rex were brother and sister. Robert Raymond Rex had a daughter named Nina Marie Christensen, and her son is Curtis Rex. He is married to Diane Welling. So that brings the entire Welling family, also related through marriage to Trenton Thornnock.
Well, I was talking with
I didn't finish
somebody, and this is small town, and he mentioned, well, everybody's related to somebody, blah, blah, blah. And I appreciate you bringing all of this up front. And it is important that people understand the relationship here, who we've elected to represent us and what is going on. And I really appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely. So this goes to show that Eric is Burton South's son, and Joanne and Galen Thornnock, that they are connected, and then the Curtis Rex and Diane Welling. So this is her obituary, and these are the people in her family. Now I had blacked a lot of these people out, but it did not do that. So I just want to say ahead of time, I'm very sorry that they're all in there. So here is Diane and Curtis Rex. And in the next episode, we're going to go through the education part, and that name is going to matter that day. But that brings Trenton Thornnock into the Welling family. Jean and Dave Anderson, that is Mark Anderson, County Commissioner Mark Anderson's mom and dad. David Welling, David sits on the city council, I believe, and Gary Welling is planning and zoning, and Jenny Welling sits on the school board. So they are gatekeepers to every elected office, and some of them are not, because the economic development, planning and zoning, those are not elected, they're appointed, I believe. So these people, if they sign a non-disclosure agreement with, which they have done, that is how this silence has been so strong, especially since COVID in the last 5 to 6 years. They have to have signed non-disclosure agreements with these companies.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. the papers wouldn't print stuff like this.
Exactly.
They're not talking.
And so,
Okay.
exactly. And when you ask questions, because I would ask an elected official a question, they would get that blank stare in their eye. They were not allowed to say a single thing. So, this GNC Holdings is Galen and Colleen Holdings, I believe is what the GNC stands for.
Oh, okay.
But that is the Trenton Thornnock property that the data center is going to go on.
And I have been told and that all of this was done legally. Everything was through Rocky Mountain Power, applying for what they applied for. The Thornocks have done their due diligence as far as applying for what they need to apply for. And all of this is done above board as far as legally goes. But on the other hand, we as the public have not really been told anything. And here we are spilling the beans.
Now, here's where I think it is not legal, and this is my opinion. I do not know. And I am praying that somebody who does know is out there watching, is with that family connection. Two of our three county commissioners are related to this man, and I believe that they should have abstained from the vote.
That's a very
Now, that's
excellent.
my opinion. That's my opinion. But
That's,
I think
that
that if they,
that is a question that needs answered. I mean, it's a valid question. It really is.
and if the non-disclosure agreements say that you had a Thanksgiving dinner and they were all meeting with Trenton Thornnock and everybody signed a non-disclosure agreement, and then they go out into the community into all of their different boards and their different positions, and they cannot talk about this, but they work towards this. Is that ethical? So, in closing to this, we want to point out to our viewers that we're not against economic development. Some people will say that we are, what does Governor Gordon call us? Club No. That we are against secretive economic development that enriches some while the rest are affected through higher taxes and an economic environment that Wyoming citizens did not have a voice in. And so my call to action for today is I want people to go to the Wild Leg House, the Wyoming legislation, and look at this bill. This is House Bill 0017 that goes, session starts tomorrow. And this bill is an act relating to the legislature amending the name and duties of the Select Committee on Blockchain, Financial Technology, and Digital Innovation Technology, amending the sponsorship authority of the Select Committee, making conforming amendments, and providing for an effective date. What I want to point out in this bill, there's all of this, but they've changed it pertaining to blockchain, but they've added and emerging technologies, which sounds like a blank check. Which emerging technologies? Is that where we add in the geoengineering technology or what is that?
Well, they're certainly not saying anything. It's very vague.
It's very vague. But that's because we don't know what they're talking about. They know that.
It's almost like Rocky Mountain Power wanting to put us on the hook for an undetermined amount of money in the future.
Exactly, a blank check. So the other thing that was concerning to me about this was where it says Wyoming's continued leadership in the digital economy by reducing impediments to economic opportunities for technology and technology companies within the state. Which impediments are those? Is that the people? If you look at the situation that happened in Bar None, nobody told the people what was going on, that they were building a nuclear, that they'd be building nuclear reactors across the field. But when the people found out, the people stood up and they became impediments. in my opinion.
Ah,
I don't know, but and developing policies that encourage technology companies to locate and remain in the state, and promoting further development of digital commercial activity in the state. What is
nice.
your thought on that?
Wow. I think we need to, is there public comment on this?
There will be. So session starts tomorrow, and we don't know when this will come up. It'll be sent to a committee, probably the Blockchain and Emerging Technology Committee.
So,
And then people can go online or go to session to give public comment. And we want to make sure that everybody starts emailing their legislators and tell them if you support or you don't support these bills. There has never been a more incredible time to be a part of the history of Wyoming. And if people do not stand up, this is our future. We know the future that the World Economic Forum had planned for us. We know what it was, and we don't want that. I do not consent to that.
well, to me, this is definitely the fingers of the World Economic Forum. And here it is in Wyoming. We're looking
It
at it
is.
right here in this bill.
Yes.
We need to have a call of action. We need to have people get involved and look at this and stand up, definitely.
And our legislators, I do apologize, my dogs are barking in the other room. Our legislators, we have Joe Webb, Laura Pearson, Scott Heiner, Bob Wharf, Wendy Schuler. We need
Yes,
everybody to reach out to these people. And if you do agree with it, tell them you agree with it. I'm not telling you what to believe or what to, I'm saying do your homework. What does this mean to you? If you want,
yes, we did. What was the date on this bill again when it was coming up?
so session starts tomorrow, and that's when they send the bills to the different committees for
To,
discussion.
to
And
the
then once
committees.
they go through their readings, and then it gets moved on to the onto the floor. But
Yeah, and this is HB, which stands for House Bill 0017.
yes,
Yes, we need to have people get involved with this, and we need more information. We need to find out what emerging technologies really means.
exactly. And
When
the
we
other thing is remember that we don't know all there is to know about these things. All I know is, well, and our city is doing a um, open house for coming up with the city plan for 2050. And we already have the Agenda 2030. What does Agenda 2050 look like? It ain't good.
I did go online and I did cruise through that survey. I didn't answer any questions, but I did look at all of the survey. It was interesting, the questions that the city wants to know. Um, I do encourage people to at least go on there and look at those questions. I don't
Sorry.
encourage you to fill it out, but just look at the questions to see what the city wants to know as far as your personal ideas on. Uh, Interesting enough, one of them was about the swimming pool.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. It's like, do you want a swimming pool? And it's like, well, we already have a swimming pool.
But
But
and
anyhow,
the other thing that I will, there is a group that I follow, a podcast called We Are the People Utah. And they have been in depth at um, how the United Nations infiltrated Utah. They have what's called Innovation Utah. Um, and it's an entire takeover of the state of Utah. And if you've not been down there lately and have seen what is becoming of Utah, it's affordable housing everywhere.
yeah, yeah. And it's amazing that what's going on, in the major cities with the sanctuary cities and that, how degraded they become, and they're just all the sanctuary cities have become hoods
Yeah,
basically, and nothing but uh, you know, it's just become the worst crime areas in the United States. It's terrible.
but I want you to think about this for just a second. Sometimes you have to create the crisis so that you can introduce the solution. So down in Utah, where there was all the homeless population, they were destroying buildings, all those businesses moved out. Well, that all of these developers got all of that property for very low dollars. And
Mm.
now it is absolutely 15-minute city stuff down there. And there was a podcaster out of Canada who showed you'll have every business that you need in the bottom of the building. You will never have to leave the building. You will live in the building. You will buy groceries in the building. You will work in the building. Nobody ever has to leave the building. And
That
that's what's
means
coming.
that people will be starving for sunshine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
So,
terrible.
but the affordable housing, we are seeing it in Wyoming. We are seeing it in Evanston. We are seeing it's coming, and there's big investigations into the developers as well. So I encourage everybody to also subscribe to the new news organization, the Open Range Record. They have investigative journalists out in the field all day, every day. So there's a lot of good stuff on there too that people can follow and read.
Well, this has been incredible. I can't wait for our next episode on this. I think we're going to break this down into probably several different episodes. Um, we're going to wrap this one up, I suppose, right now, and I'll close this out. If is that okay with you, Tina?
Yep, that's all I have for today.
All righty. Well, this is episode 3 of Accountability is Trending. And remember, accountability is trending. Thank you for watching.